Hello everybody, how are you doing? This is Java programming for beginners. Okay, this is a beginner level. And today I'm going to teach you about Java method, right? I did only about Java method. So what is Java method, or what's method in Java? Another programming language calls it function, right? For example, C++, it calls it function. Java mostly it calls it method, right? Method. It also calls it function, but the common used word is method. So what is method? It's nothing but a block of code, okay, that performs a specific task, right? Specific task. Okay, it is a single purpose block of code, right? Single purpose. I'm telling you a single purpose, okay? So this block of code runs only when it is called, right? Only when it's called. If you don't call it, it will stay dormant, right? So we need to call it. So as I told you, it's called also function. Once we define a method, we can call it multiple times, right? And this is the main purpose of method, right? We write it once and we call it many times, right? As many as we need. How do we declare method? It has its own rule, right? So how do we declare? I'm talking about Java, by the way, method in Java, right? So when I tell you the declaration of method here, mind is that I am talking about Java, right? So when we declare Java method, we can include 6 components, okay? It can include 6 components. The first one is, so I will put these 6 components in order, right? In order. The first one is access modifier, okay? Java has its own access modifiers like public, private, protected, and default, right? I will not talk these things in detail. In detail today, right? I will have a different video for these modifiers. Second one is the return type, right? Then we declare the access modifier, then followed by the return type, right? The return type of a method. A method may or may not return a value. If it does not return a value, we use a word void, right? If it returns a value, so we put the type of the return type, right? The data type. It may be int, it may be string, it may be double, right? It may be bool, or it may be other user-defined data type, right? Followed is by the third component is the method of the name of the method, right? The name of the method. Okay, we put the name of the method next to the return type. After that, we put parameters, okay? Or we call them arguments, okay? Parameters. So a method may or may not have parameters, okay? If it does not have a parameter, we put simply an empty parenthesis, right? An empty parenthesis. But if it takes arguments, we put first the data type of the argument, then followed by the name of the argument, right? Unlike other programming languages, like Python and JavaScript, Java method arguments take the data type, right? They take the data type. The next component is exception list, right? Exception list. Java has very important concept of exception handling, right? Exception handling. So this is one of the things, right? Exception list. A method may throw exceptions that will be handled by the caller, right? So when we define a method, we can throw an exception or many types of exceptions, right? Many types of exceptions by saying throws, then the list of the exceptions, right? Or exception, or generally we can say exception, right? Then the caller will handle the exceptions thrown by the method. And the last one is a body, right? The body, we put it under the brace, right? Under the curly brace, right? Under the curly brace, we put the body under the curly brace, or the business of the method, we put it under the curly brace. Okay, these are the 6 components of a method in Java. Example of method declaration. Okay, let me show you one example. You see, this public is the access modifier, followed by this one, int is the data type. Okay, Java has its own data types, right? This one is find the maximum value. This one is the name of the method, followed by arguments. Here we have 3 arguments. As I tell you, every argument in Java is preceded with the data type, right? For example, x variable x is type int, y is int, and z variable is int, right? Then it throws an exception. Here, for example, it's throwing number format exception, right? It's throwing number format exception. This exception will be handled by the caller, right? By the caller. Then the curly braces, can you see this one, curly braces, this curly braces, then we write the method here, right? The method body, right? We write the business logic here, right? The business logic here. So this is how we declare a method in Java, right? Including here, it includes the 6 parts, but it's not mandatory, okay? For example, we may not use this one, right? We may not throw an exception, right? We may not throw an exception, or also we may not use arguments, okay? We may need arguments. It's up to you. It's up to us to throw exceptions, okay? And it's up to the business. It's up to the aim of the method, whether to use the arguments or not, right? Or not. So this may be in empty parentheses, right? But here I'm using 3 parameters of type integer, right? Int means integer. Guys, int means integer, right? It's short form of integer. It's a data type in Java, right? Also in many other programming languages. So this is how we declare it. This is a declaration. It does not have any body. Okay, we don't know what's going. Of course, we can guess from its name that it's going to find the maximum value of 3 integers, right? X, Y, and Z, right? X, Y, and Z. But I'm showing here only the declaration. It does not have a body, right? It does not have a body. Great. So method signature. How about method signature? Okay. Out of the 6 components of Java declaration, only 2 of them are used for defining method signature in Java. Java has a concept called method signature because it defines a concept that's called, it allows a concept that's called method overloading. It has a method overloading concept. Of course, I will not go in detail about it here now, but method signature is in Java defined by 2 things, okay? One is by name of the method, and another thing is by the parameter types, right? By the parameter types. We don't care about the names of the parameters, but the parameter types. So method signature is defined by 2 things of these 6 components: the name of the method and the types of the arguments, right? Or the parameters. For example, out of this one, can you see what? Only find the max. This is the name of this one, and this is the parameters, right? So out of the 6, only this one defines the signature of the method, the signature of the method. This is very important during we deal method overloading, right? I will not deal, as I told you, a method overloading here. Okay, why method? Why do we use method? Very important thing, right? Very important thing. So why are we dealing about method? Every programming language deals with method. So why do we need it? The very important thing is to reuse code, right? We need to reuse code. Okay, we define code once, then use it many times, right? So this is to avoid or to handle boilerplate code. Okay, boilerplate code, right? Can you see this one? This is used to handle the boilerplate codes, right? Boilerplate codes is code that's used repeatedly, right? That's used repeatedly. If some portion of code is used repeatedly, so it's advisable to put it as a function, then call that function as many as we need, right? As many as we need. So this portion of code is called boilerplate code, right? It's a boilerplate code. Another thing is it saves time, right? It saves time, right? Because we don't need to write that portion of code here and there, right? Here and there, we put it as a portion of code somewhere as a method that we simply call that method as many as we need, right? So this is time saving. Okay, it's the time saving, and this is one way of writing quality codes, right? It's one way of writing quality codes. Okay, let's go to the hands-on, right? Let's see it practically. Let's see it practically. Okay, let me zoom in. Yes, here I have defined a class by the name method of, math operation, right? Math operation class. Okay, it's a class that handles mathematical operations, right? And I call it math operation, right? The convention is that the first letter of any class name in Java should be capitalized, right? Capitalized. So if we have more than one words, we have to capitalize the first, okay? The first letters of each word, right? For example, here I have two words, maths, one word, another one, second word is operation, right? So M is capital, and here O is capitalized, maths operation. So this is a convention, of course, it's a convention. So let me define a method. Let me define a method. Let my access modifier be public, okay? Public. I will make it public, and the return type is int, right? Let me take it int. So my function name is add, right? I am going to add two integers, int a, int b, right? I will not throw any exception here, okay? I will not throw any exception. So I will go to the body directly, right? Directly to the body, right? So what I'm going to do here, I will return the addition of two numbers, right? A and B, right? I can directly say like that. Okay, I think I will show you stepwise. I will define a variable sum, right? Sum is equals to A plus B, right? Because it's a beginner level, I have to go stepwise, right? Okay, then this function, you see, int, this function returns a value of integer, right? So what should I do? I should say return the value, return sum, right? I have to return the value sum. Okay, I have to return this one. This function takes two parameters, okay, A and B, two integer parameters, then returns. Its business logic is returning the sum of the two integers, the sum of the two integers. Okay, so let me call it from here. As I told you, if the function is executed when it is called, right? When it's called. So I do have here a main method. This one is entry point, okay? Java code starts execution from the main method, right? So everything is called from the main method, right? So I have to call my function here so that it will be executed, okay? So I will create a variable, an object. I think you guys know how to create an object. So I will call this one an object of A, new, this one, right? This is how we create an object, right? I have created an object of A type A. So using this one, I will call my method, right? I would say a.add. Oh, sorry. I will use this method, then call my add. Okay, then I will pass values to this one, right? I will pass values to this one. For example, I will say 100 for 5, 6, right? For 4, comma separated two values, right? Comma separated different values, 100 and 106. So what is the maximum value of this one? Okay, for example, I will take this return value into, I will put the return value of this method into variable, another variable. I can say, for example, here s is equals to this one, right? This one. So what is the value of this one? I can print it out, right? System out dot print. In Java, we print line, right? We see it's a value like this. Okay, so the maximum, yeah, the addition is okay. Well, the sum is, I will call it here. The sum is plus s, right? Plus s. So then exclude. What's the sum of these values? Can you see 556? The sum is 556, right? Okay, it takes the arguments, adds them up, okay, and returns the summation of integers. Okay, we can add here another argument. For example, it can be in C, right? If it is if we have added one thing, we have to add it also here, right? ABC. So expected also to add here, it can be 0, right? It can be 0. So if we execute this one, no difference, right? We execute this one, so we see no difference. Great. Okay, I can do it this one in a very short form, right? In a very short form, I can directly return this one. Return directly A plus B plus C, right? Plus C. Then I execute. Same it, right? Same value. So it's up to you either to define a variable, then assign the value to it, then return it, or directly return it, right? Directly you can return it, A plus B plus C. Okay, so it's up to you to take either also two methods, right? You can even use your own method. Okay, let me give you second one, right? Private. I can say private, for example. I will define another method, private. It returns int still, okay? It returns int. Or let me show you another thing, okay? Which returns void, right? Which returns void and does not take any argument. Then I will call this one void. Okay. Then what? Hello. Say hello, for example. I can say hello or say something. Okay, I can have this kind of method. It says it's a method with the name say and returns nothing, right? Returns nothing. They said I void, right? That's why I said void. I said void. Then what this function simply says something because I said say, right? It simply says something. The system.out, it simply says something, right? Dot print line. I can say, for example, hello. What? Yeah, it says hello Java method, okay? Hello Java method. Or hello Java students, okay? Yeah, simple as this, right? Then we call it here. We can call it using the object a dot say, right? Okay. As I tell you, if a method is not calculated, I mean it's not called, it will not be executed. Can you see? We can see here, hello Java students, right? Hello Java students. So it simply says something, right? It says something, right? So can you see, guys? It does not take any parameters here. It's not mandatory forever. It's not mandatory to take parameters, and it's not mandatory to return a value either. Okay. So if you don't return a value, we use the word void, right? Void means we will not return any value, okay? We will not return any value. All right? Great. And, okay, any other? Okay, another thing is that I might not define an access modifier here. So then Java will use a default access modifier. So I will, for example, I will give you another one. It's find max. Find max bar class. Find max. I have a function by the name max. It takes some arguments, for example, int x and into y, right? Into y, and it returns the maximum value of 2 integers. Okay, maximum value of 2 integers. Here I can define it. I can define this one in 2 ways. Let me give the simpler one. I will define a variable max, okay, with a variable max. I can initialize it into 0. Then I will compare x and y. I will use the if case, right? If I will case the if condition. If in simple way, right? If x is greater than y, then max will be x, right? Max will be x. Else max will be y, right? Then return what? Return what? Then how to return the maximum value, right? Then return the max variable, right? The max variable. Okay, simple as this one. Create a variable max, then compare x and y, then assign the maximum value to max, right? Okay, then return the maximum value. After that, we will call the method, right? We will call this method. You will a.find. Okay, I will copy paste, right? To save time, a.find max, and we will give it some values, right? We pass some values for example, simple values, 10, 11, right? 11. Okay, and I will assign this one to some variable, right? Some variable int a is equals to, or int max, right? Int max values one, int max is equals to this one, right? It's equals to this one. And I will print it out, right? I will print it out so that we will see it. Okay, so what is the value of this one? Instead of m, I will use one max. Okay, instead of sum, I will see the max is the maximum values. Maximum value is this one, right? So let's execute it. 10 and 11. We expect 11, right? Mass operation was this one error. Well, simple variable max, right? Okay, max. Okay. Yeah, we expect 11, right? The maximum value is 11. Okay, the maximum value is 11. Well, we can do it directly, right? Without defining a variable. I can even call it like this, right? I can call it like this. Okay, we simply call a method this one, right? I can directly call it here. Okay, how about this one? A.find max. We can directly call the method. Same value, right? Same value, exactly. Same value. Okay. I can also do this one in a very short form, right? In a shorter form. I can directly call this one, right? I can call return. I can, if x is greater than y, we return x. Okay. Else, no, return x. Else, return y. As short as this one, right? As short as this one. Same, right? Same, no error. Okay, so it's guys up to you to use a way which is suitable for you, right? So I'm using two ways, right? It's a ternary operation, right? I can use a ternary operation, or I can use the if then, okay? The if else methodologies, okay? The if else methodologies. So guys, this is what Java method is in a very simple way, right? For beginners level, right? For beginners level, mainly I'm dealing with the signature or the declaration of a function, right? How do we declare function? What are the components of the function declaration, right? The 6 components. So how about the signature, function signature? Okay, so I showed you some examples here. I hope it's very clear, right? It's very clear for beginners. Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I will have so many other videos in Java and in other programming languages. But for today, this short form video is enough. Okay. So see you another time.